News at Noon starts now.
Right now at noon, the shutdown enters day 35, and Arkansas DHS says more than 1,500 jobs could be on the line if no deal is reached. What this could mean for thousands of employees. Plus, former Vice President Dick Cheney has passed away at the age of 84. We'll take a look back at his legacy in American politics. Thank you for joining us for your 5 News at Noon. I'm Morgan Wrigley here with Joshua Weisel. Started the week very cool. Now we're warming up a little bit. Sounds like it's going to stay that way for a while, if you like that.
Oh, yes. So finally getting that nice stretch of fall weather where it's not too cool. It's going to be the nice, cool mornings, pleasant, warm afternoons. We've got a little bit of breezy conditions today as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on out there. Here's a look at our cameras across the region, and you can see the trees that are in view for several of these cameras moving around a little bit this morning into this afternoon, and it's because we've got some gusty winds out there. Temperatures, though, feeling pretty good. Those south winds are going to help keep those temperatures on the warmer side today, already into the lower 70s in some spots, getting close to the mid 70s in others. Otherwise, right around the upper 60s, lower 70s. Those wind gusts kicking up to 30 miles an hour. We've been talking about that throughout the weekend and yesterday, that it was going to kick up to around 30 miles an hour today. As you can see, we've got winds anywhere between 20 to 30. A little bit calmer in the River Valley, but give it just a little bit more time, we'll start to see those wind gusts increasing there as well. Throughout the day today, it's going to be nice and warm, to say the least, across the area. Lots of sunshine. Besides the breezy conditions, it'll be a pretty comfortable day overall. And River Valley is going to be just a little bit warmer into the mid, maybe a couple upper 70s mixed in as well. So that's a look at what we've got there. Coming up in the main forecast segment, I'll let you know how long this warm stretch of weather lasts. Maybe a little bit of a cool off by the weekend as well. Details on that coming up.
Thanks, Joshua. Well, RDOT crews are spending the day today getting ahead of winter weather. The training includes driver instruction, equipment checks, road tests with snowplow trucks, and communication practice. This drill runs from 9 this morning until 4 this afternoon. We have new information about 3 people who died in 2 separate incidents at the H-Town Throwdown races in Hartshorn, Oklahoma. The city's mayor shared on social media that her husband, a volunteer, died after being electrocuted while finishing setup for the races. The county emergency management director says 2 first responders were killed in a crash during the drag racing event Saturday night. Officials say more information will be released on this as it becomes available. Well, an Arkansas judge rules in favor of the State Board of Corrections, striking down laws that required corrections officials to report to the governor. The judge ruled that Acts 185 and 659 are unconstitutional. He says the state constitution gives the Board of Corrections exclusive authority to run Arkansas prisons. Well, a man has died in Muskogee, Oklahoma, after the car he was driving was hit by a train. Police say 41-year-old Michael Fleming of Muskogee died after his car was hit on West 73rd Street. This is on October 29th. No one else was hurt, and the crash is still under investigation. The judge has approved a request for Andrew McGahn to attend court appearances in civilian clothes and without visible restraints. Of course, he's charged with capital murder for the deaths of Clinton and Kristen Brink, who were stabbed while hiking at Devil's Den State Park in July. McGahn has pleaded not guilty to those charges, and his lawyers filed a motion last week saying if he wore jail clothes and restraints in court, it could affect how a jury views him. McGahn is set to appear in court on November 14th. Well, the Washington County Quorum Court has decided not to take action on a resolution about housing federal inmates. According to the meeting agenda, the county detention center does not have enough beds, and 80 people have been sleeping on the floor there, creating unsafe and unsanitary conditions. The resolution proposed ending the sale of federal bed space at the jail, but after several minutes of back and forth and public comment, the Quorum Court voted against the resolution. Today we're hearing from University of Arkansas band members who are mourning the loss of one of their own. 19-year-old Jace Shute, a trumpet player from Benton, passed away Saturday after a battle with 2 forms of cancer. He had been diagnosed with leukemia and myeloid sarcoma, but this did not stop him from doing what he loved. A biology major and a trumpet player, Jace was part of 3 U of A bands, including the Razorback Marching Band. His friends say his love for music and for people was easy to see.
He was actually trumpet section leader at my high school, and I know that he loved marching band the most, so I think that he really loved the people in marching band. He loved his section, loved these guys.
Now those who knew him best are finding comfort in each other, and they're planning to play in his honor at his funeral. Well, the government shutdown is now stretching longer, hitting both travelers and families who rely on food assistance. As airport delays grow and food aid shrinks, frustration is mounting nationwide. Long lines and flight delays are plaguing airports across the country as air traffic controllers and TSA agents work without pay. Sick calls have surged, forcing some checkpoints to close and causing major backups in cities like Houston, Dallas, and Austin. The shutdown is also impacting millions who depend on SNAP benefits for food. Courts ordered payments restored, but the Trump administration says it will only cover half for now. That leaves families uncertain about when full aid will return.
We've got air traffic controllers and technicians that are not being paid, and certainly that's got to put an additional strain on an already stressful job.
The White House hasn't said when full SNAP benefits will resume, and airlines report more than 3 million passengers have already faced delays from shutdown-related staffing shortages. Arkansas DHS is preparing to furlough more than 1,500 employees if the shutdown continues. Secretary Janet Mann says without federal funding, DHS will have to pause new benefit applications and close county offices starting this Friday, November 7th. Mann says the agency is urging Arkansans to seek help from local food banks and churches.
At this time, we are continuing to advise our beneficiaries to prepare for a disruption or delay in SNAP benefits, and we will provide additional guidance as soon as we receive it.
Reports show more than 220,000 people in Arkansas rely on SNAP every month. Organizations in Arkansas are stepping up to help those who receive food benefits. Arkansas Community Advocates is holding food distributions this week in Conway and North Little Rock, providing groceries and hot meals to anyone in need. Local volunteers and organizations are working to ensure families have access to those essential food supplies before the holidays.
We've been preparing and making sure that the infrastructures are in place to take care of each other.
Additional food drives are planned ahead of Thanksgiving, and organizers are urging the community to donate or volunteer to help families navigate SNAP delays. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders has announced plans to send 100 members of the National Guard to Washington, D.C. These soldiers are mostly based in Northwest Arkansas. The federally funded mission will last several months, replacing other units that have been on the job since August. Colonel Joel Lynch says the mission will be similar to the previous one. Soldiers will provide security and help law enforcement in high-traffic areas like the National Mall and metro stations.
Whenever the country needs us, whether the governor says, hey, we need you to go help out in Washington, D.C., or whether it's something else, we know that we can call on the right amount of trained professional soldiers, and they will spin up really fast, and they will get to the situation and be a very big player in whatever exercise or operation that's going to be in.
The Guard is anticipating for those soldiers to leave for the mission after Thanksgiving and return around the end of February. They're currently preparing at Fort Chaffee with administrative checks, health screenings, and weapons qualifications before the deployment. Voters head to the polls in states across the country today. Some of the most closely watched races include the race for the New York City mayor, the Virginia and New Jersey governor races. Natalie Brand has more details from Alexandria, Virginia.
Zoran Mamdani cast his ballot Tuesday morning, vying to run the nation's largest city as a self-described democratic socialist.
It is time now for a new day in our politics, and it is an honor and a privilege to be a part of a movement that has fought every single day to bring that day forward. And today, we have until 9 p.m. to say that our time has come.
Mamdani, the winner of New York City's Democratic primary, faces a challenge from former Governor Andrew Cuomo running as an independent and Republican Curtis Sliwa. On election eve, President Trump threw his support behind Cuomo.
President Trump is pragmatic. He is telling them the reality of the situation, which is if you do not vote, Mamdani is going to win.
In neighboring New Jersey, polling shows a competitive race between Democratic Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill, a former Navy officer, and Republican former state assemblyman Jack Ciattarelli. Both the New Jersey gubernatorial race and the one here in Virginia are viewed as political bellwethers heading into the midterms next year.
It could send a small message about the direction we're headed in.
Voters in the Commonwealth are choosing between former Democratic Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger and Republican Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears.
Abigail, is for nonsense, but I am for common sense.
In Virginia, we need a governor who will stand up against the chaos.
Northern Virginia voters we spoke with said President Trump's policies and government layoffs are weighing on their minds.
In this area, I think that there's a lot of people who are experiencing personal impacts.
Today in California, voters are deciding on a proposition that would allow congressional maps to be redrawn in that state. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Alexandria, Virginia.
Arkansas candidates are now officially filing for next year's primary election on March 3rd. Monday marked the first official step for candidates who want their names on the ballot. Washington County's Director of Elections, Jennifer Price, says it was a day marked by anticipation and a lot of activity, and that they're seeing signs of strong interest this year. The filing period runs through November 12th. And Senator Tom Cotton officially filed his paperwork to run for another term. The filing and officials say those planning to run can find deadlines and document resources within the Running for Office handbook available online. Well, former Vice President Dick Cheney has died. He was 84 years old. Cheney served under former President George W. Bush from 2001 to 2009, the culmination of a long and impactful political career. CBS's Jared Hill looks back at his life.
Dick Cheney had been a player in Washington politics for 30 years when George W. Bush tapped him to be his running mate.
He really wanted me to come on board because he thought I could help govern, be part of his team.
Cheney led the Bush administration in the war against terror following the September 11th attacks and urged military action against Iraq.
There is no doubt that Saddam Hussein now has weapons of mass destruction.
Infamously never found, Cheney blamed bad intelligence and remained an influential advisor to President Bush.
Dick Cheney, a man of great integrity, sound judgment, and experience.
Richard Bruce Cheney was born in 1941 and grew up in Wyoming. He married his high school sweetheart, Lynn, with whom he had 2 daughters. In Washington, Cheney worked as an assistant in the Nixon White House. He then served as President Ford's chief of staff and won 5 terms as Wyoming's representative in Congress. At age 37, he suffered his first heart attack. That didn't deter President George H.W. Bush from making him Secretary of Defense. Cheney was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom for his handling of Operation Desert Storm. He suffered 3 more heart attacks before becoming vice president.
In terms of the kinds of activities I can engage in professionally, there are no restrictions.
While vice president, Cheney accidentally shot and injured his friend Harry Whittington during a hunting trip, a mishap he called one of the worst days of his life.
Dick Cheney came in.
Cheney endorsed President Trump in his first campaign, but following the January 6th assault on the U.S. Capitol, he said Trump was a threat to democracy in a video for his daughter Liz's failed re-election campaign for the Wyoming House seat he once held.
He is a coward. A real man wouldn't lie to his supporters.
Despite the split, President Trump ordered the flag of the White House lowered in Cheney's honor today. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.